The Odd Pod.
Odd Pod. Hello and welcome to the Odd Pod once again. Peel Post Office has been in the news recently. The sub-postmistress is hanging up her stamps and they're looking for a replacement. People in the West are concerned that this might lead to the closure of Peel Post Office if a replacement can't be found. My mother was a sub-postmistress and I firmly believe that sub-post offices have a vital role to play in the community. Apart from nothing else, it has the last cash point left in the West. So if the post office is closed, the cash point goes with it. As we move towards a cashless society, I wonder if this bothers us. So I thought we'd go for a route around in the archive once again, because we haven't done this for a while, and we'll bring you a programme which was first broadcast in 1990 in the Kelly's Eye series with Peter Kelly and the late great David Conister. And they were looking at Peel Post Office as it was then in a different building.
Peter, what's Kelly's Eye looking at today?
Well, today, David, I suppose for the first time I'm actually looking at a window, or a series of windows. They're leaded lights. They have a little bit of arts and craft stained glass at the top, and they're set in frames or fenestrations of sandstone.
And they are, in fact, in Peel.
Well, they'd have to be, really. The building is in the marketplace. It's a building not as old as people might think. It's just the turn of the century. It's now the post office, but was originally built as Parr's Bank.
In, as you say, red sandstone, which would have been quarried quite close by.
Yes, probably from Craigmallen. But it's not all sandstone. If you look up, you'll find the first floor walls generally, although there's sandstone around the windows and on pilasters and corners, is in fact in rough cast, which is indicative of that arts and crafts period, and also a little bit of a giveaway to the architect. It's not Bailey Scott, but in fact his contemporary and rival, as far as Bailey Scott was concerned, Armitage Rigby.
There's a rather nice entrance door on the corner.
Yes, you've got the sort of rough stone pointed in between. The stone has been roughly squared into blocks of differing sizes, but then the windows are dressed sandstone, as is the entrance, and I would suspect actually that sandstone, the dressed sandstone, has been imported because the local sandstone is far too soft to dress and to weather.
Does sandstone get rather dirty and do you clean it, and how easy is it or how difficult is it to clean it?
Well, you can just see to the right-hand side by the rear yard gate, in fact, where the water drips from the coping stones, and you are getting a green slime there. That would come off, in fact, with a weak solution of Domestos. But there's no need to clean it. No, it looks far better weathered. Just looking around the rest of the square, behind us, of course, is the old St Peter's Church, which I think we'll deal with on another Kelly's Eye. You've got the Peel Castle Hotel. You've got a red Ruaben brick chocolate box, and then just over to the right we've got the inverted commas conservation area, close inverted commas.
Famous bollards.
But we'll go and have a look at the bollards.
Well, isn't this pretty? Now, what does a lover of Victoriana think of this conservation area and the bollards and all of this?
I'm afraid I believe the expression is not a lot. My own opinion, David, of conservation areas, or perhaps not my own opinion, what conservation areas should be, which is what they've not tended to be here in the island up to now, is a conserving of what is here, what has evolved over various periods, be it Edwardian, Victorian, Georgian, medieval, or whatever. And admittedly the car park here was not exactly attractive, but what has happened, you've got total ignorance, I suppose, of local tradition, material and so on. If we look across the road, you'll notice the curbstones, where they've not been replaced with concrete, are in fact granite, which has come down from Foxdale. In certain places, parts of Douglas, as we've looked at before, you also get limestone. But here they've gone and put in concrete curbs. The paving is a mixture of concrete slabs and brick. I'll defy you to find any sort of brick paving generally in the island. The phone box, which was a typical K6 version of the Sir Giles Gilbert Scott phone box, which one accepts as being something of historical importance, an evolution, has been replaced by a stone version, and well, we look around Peel and we see sandstone and sandstone and sandstone, but it's been built in Manx slate, which just doesn't seem to make sense. And the same with the flower beds.
Has got 3 legs on the top.
It has got 3 legs on the top, and I won't go into which way it's going either. But when you consider the old ShopRite buildings were demolished, there was any amount of sandstone available. And then, of course, you get this cannonade, more or less, of bollards. Now, again, bollards have existed in the island as they've existed elsewhere. You probably remember at the bottom of Welroad Hill there was one there. In fact, there was one at the top. They were there for a purpose. They were to stop vehicles entering places. They weren't intended to go all the way around a market square or whatever to be decorative as you've got here. So in fact you've got a total overcrowding of bollards and a total misuse of materials.
What then? Clear them away?
I think the chap in Ramsey with his JCB had the right idea.
Peter Kelly, always one to be controversial. Well, that programme was broadcast in 1990, and since then a lot's happened. The marketplace in Peel has been redesigned, the slate telephone box is gone, and the old post office building at the moment, after being the Vets for many years, is now empty. The current post office building is down the road round the corner and much smaller, and its future lies in the balance. As for the story of the Ramsey man with the JCB, we'll leave that for another day.
The Odd Pod.